Good afternoon. Keri and I are very aware that we're sitting in between you and your break, but if we can just have 5 minutes, that'd be great. So I'm Jodie Burkitt. I look after Deloitte's UK telco, media and tech sectors, and Keri and I are here to talk about Change the Face. And we're here to talk about it because there is so much more that we as a collective need to do. So there is a wealth of research in terms of the benefits of diversity of organizations. They're more productive, they're more profitable, they are more enjoyable to work at, well-being is higher, engagement is higher. But there's also a wealth of research that shows that we are not making the progress that we need to make. So an astonishing fact that some of you may or may not know is that early stage funding, which is synonymous with the technology sector, 2% of early stage funding goes to female-founded businesses. So Keri and I are here to raise the profile of Change of Face, of which both Colt and Deloitte are founding members, and to have a bit of a call to arms in terms of how all of you can help with Change of Face. A couple of examples of small things that Deloitte are doing, and we know that we need to do more. We raised the conversation at Mobile World Congress, and we also did the same at Davos. We look at our recruitment processes perennially in terms of how we can drive diversity. We do reverse mentoring, so our leaders can enjoy the lived experiences of their younger, more diverse colleagues, and we have very mature diversity networks. But as I said, we need to do more. And I'd like to ask Keri in terms of to understand what Colt are doing and to understand why diversity and inclusion is important to you.
So I think it's quite obvious. When I became the CEO of Colt, I was the 5th CEO in the world that was a female. And so that in and of itself tells me that we have to make some change because there's a lot more women in this room, which I love. But it's not just women, it's not just gender, it's neurodiversity, it's racial, it's ethnic equality, it's a gamut of different things. And for me and why Colt believe that this is important is because of 3 Ds. It's better decision making, and that's been proven. It's better discussions. The discussions that we have as a diverse team, and my team is 50-50 male, female, and that was by design. But I also have neurodiversity, I also have LGBTQ+, and I also have ethnic diversity on my leadership team. And we make better decisions. We have better discussions because they are more fact-based and they're more thought through, and that was proven in a Harvard study that was done about 5 years ago, actually. But we also have more innovation. When you look at what is required in the next generation of the future in AI and in technology in general, innovation is going to be a key differentiator, and without diversity, you're going to struggle to find it.
Yeah, and when talking about the early stage funding, actually those female-led businesses outperform the businesses that are led by males. They outperform in terms of return and the speed of return of that investment. And so what are your key takeaways in terms of what we can do on diversity and inclusion before we encourage everybody to get more involved in Change Face?
I think there's 2 things for me. One is, if you look at, so we did a study at Change the Face of about 2,000 employees across Deloitte, Vodafone, Colt, Samsung, a handful of companies. And what actually came back is 1 in 5 employees are neurodiverse. So first and foremost, we have to recognize that diversity exists even if you don't see it. And I think that is a critical factor. The second thing is, of those 1 in 5 employees, what they actually said is that they struggle at work. So the second thing we need to do is recognize, one, that we have 1 in 5 employees have some form of diversity, even if it's not gender-based. And secondly, they are wanting help. And so, we can create our ERG groups. We can actually start making small changes. At Colt, we made a change just the other day of just lowering the entrance badge at the front of our office so that our wheelchair employees could come through. We created a neurodiversity room so that they could have a quiet place in order to go. We've changed the lighting out, on one of our floors so that those that have dyslexia and other neurodiverse, I would say actually they're not problems. I actually think they're opportunities because I think they're superpowers. But I think those are some of the small things that we can do in order to make it better. The last thing I would say, and I know we have 3 seconds.
We have more.
Okay, good. Is that if you look at diversity and who's trying to solve the problem for diversity, it's not diverse in and of itself. And I think that's the biggest problem that we have. As much as I've been on the board of Change the Face or for the TM Forum or for the MEF or for whoever it is, the problem's getting worse, it's not getting better. We're 137 years behind being, behind equality and a situation that actually got worse during COVID for women. And with the layoffs in the tech industry, it got even worse over the last couple of years. And so the first thing we have to recognize is that to change diversity, you actually need diversity. So what I would ask is that our male colleagues white male colleagues that are in the room play an active part in actually the change. And that means actually possibly being the executive sponsor of your Women's Plus network or be the executive sponsor of your neurodiverse team. That way you can learn more. You don't have to run it. You can have, the women lead the women's network, but you can listen. And that listening is going to give you a much better opportunity to understand the changes that you need to make in your company within your management base of, that's highly dominated by males to make a difference and get comfortable doing that, because I know that's part of the problem too. We're uncomfortable if we're the non-diverse person in a team, and we're flipping the coin here.
And so therefore, in terms of our ask of this group, and because it's a technology sector-led initiative, Change Your Face, in terms of building an inclusive technology sector, because it plays such an important role in shaping a connected, online, inclusive world, it feels even more important to this room. And therefore, there was supposed to be you probably still can use the code on the screen in terms of connecting with Change Your Face on LinkedIn. If you can't get it on the screen, it is outside. And I would reiterate Keri's statement, please do get involved and don't leave it to your diverse colleagues to try and change your face. Thank you. We are now heading to a break, so I'd just like to thank Keri.